at all my little tabs. I put a lot of tabs on here. Oh my god, I love this so much. Okay. Hi book nerds, welcome to book club. Today we're going to be discussing Words on Bathroom Walls by Julia Watson. I'm actually really excited to talk about this book because I was being dumb. I bought the book originally before watching the movie, but I watched the movie and then I read the book. And, you know, I enjoyed the movie and I enjoyed the book, but whenever I realize that when a movie is based off of a book, I want to read the book first before watching the movie, but I saw the movie first and then I read the book. But, you know, surprisingly, it didn't ruin either one for me. So, let's get into it. So, Words on Bathroom Walls by Julia Watson. Despite the title, the book itself is actually a very interesting concept. It's about a teenage boy going through school, love life, bullies, friends, stepfather, new siblings entering into the world, and him becoming a big brother. One small little detail though, he's schizophrenic, and he has to deal with all of that as well as his mental illness. And what I really love about this is that it doesn't really seem to make fun of it or make light of the situations. So, let's get into the characters and then we'll get into the plot itself. I'm excited. Let's go. Pink. Yep, pink is romance. Oh my god, I forgot what my color coding was. Full screen. Okay. I'm supposed to be talking about the characters, but I'm like re-looking through my brain and my notes. Oh my god, there's really dust on the floor. Alright, the characters. Our main character is a young 15-year-old named Adam. I forgot what his last name was. So, he is our main character. He is the person who is... I'm losing my mind already. My goodness. I'm not very coordinated with this, as you can tell. Like, I have a cheat sheet, but I don't do anything with it. It's very... Oh my god, I'm getting scared shitless. Okay. So, our main character is Adam. He's a 15-year-old boy who just got to this Catholic school and he's schizophrenic. That's really all you need to know. And I also like to consider his hallucinations also part of the main characters because they are a part of him. So the hallucinations, I'm not going to talk about a lot of it. I'm just going to talk about the main story plots that are going through because the hallucinations act more like side characters, but because they are a part of Adam, I'm counting them as also main characters. And a couple of them that you need to know is that there's this one hallucination who's like a really nice hippie girl, a naked man, a couple of mobsters, and a couple of jokesters. And it's just really interesting. And I don't want to give too much away because while I am going to talk about the main plot points of the story, I do want you guys to go out and actually read these books for yourselves and to not fake, oh my god, what am I talking about? And to have your own opinion of these books. So, and as always, there will be spoilers for the story because this is a review video. If you thought I wasn't going to have a spoiler, then I don't know what review videos you guys are watching. But yeah, those are the main characters, and we could just go right to the side characters, which is Adam's mom, Adam's stepdad, Paul, his friends, Dwight and Maya, his bully, Ian, and his therapist. And the therapist is important because, well, not only that are they a side character, but the actual plot of the story and how it's written is very interesting. So, let's get into the plot itself, and let's talk more about Words on Bathroom Walls. And I'm going to keep showing this book because it looks so cool. I'm going to talk about it for a second. I love the cover design of this because, like, I don't know how well you can see it, but, like, look at this. Look at the scribbles. Look at all that. I love it. It's literally like if you go to a public school bathroom and there's just scribbles all over it. I love it so much. Alright, let's get into the plot before I lose my mind. Alright, that was loud, my goodness. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of the story, Words on Bathroom Walls. And I'm going to just keep saying the title over and over again, no matter how many times I get sick of it. So, let's just dive right in, I guess. So, Adam has schizophrenia. That's the whole point of the story. He has schizophrenia, he's going to this new school, it's a Catholic school, and he's part of a new drug test group called Tozaprex. Tozaprex. He's part of a Tozaprex testing group. And this is part of the reason why I didn't really want to talk about the hallucinations a lot, because the Tozaprex medication makes the hallucinations go away for parts of the book. So you don't really kind of get a lot of them. It's just mostly about Adam trying to hide the fact that he is schizophrenic. So, how the story goes is that when he ends up going to school, Ian, that's how you say it. I keep on saying Ian, probably because I actually know an Ian, but Ian is a bully at the school. He's supposed to show Adam around and just kind of like, hey, this is how the school works, here's the classes, but he ends up ditching him instead. And very early on, Adam learns that Ian is a bully. That's how he meets Maya. Maya finds him wandering the halls, helps him to his class, and invites him to join the Academica team. I believe it's the Academica team. They call it like the academic team or something like that. So anyway, he sits right next to a classmate named Dwight, and they end up becoming friends while also being part of the academic team. What I really like about them being part of the academic team is that Adam makes a joke to Maya about how it's like a losers group, and when she enters him into a group chat, she says, "Welcome to the Losers Club." And I think it's hilarious. This book is so funny for me, and I don't know why. But, alright. While he's taking the Tozaprex, I don't want to say it wrong, even though it is a fake medication. I just don't want to try to say it wrong or forget what it is. I don't want to just call it the medication. Tozaprex. As he's taking the Tozaprex, his hallucinations start to go away little by little. He doesn't really notice them. He's starting to feel normal, which there's no such thing as normal, but for him, this is his new normal, and he's super excited about it. So, except that, he does get a couple hallucinations, and one of his hallucinations is Amanda, who is like the nice hippie girl, and he ends up following her to the school's pool, where he finds Maya drowning. He saves her, and then that's when he joins like the academic team, and that's when he actually becomes friends with Maya, and he was already kind of becoming friends with Dwight. So, what ends up happening is that after he joins the academic team, saves Maya, becomes close friends with Dwight and Maya, he kind of realizes that the meds aren't working anymore. And this is when the holidays start coming around, so it's about Christmas time, and that's when he learns that his mom is pregnant and he's gonna have a little baby sibling. And he's super excited about this, a little bit nervous because he's kind of wondering, like, is my sibling gonna have what I have? And am I gonna be okay around her? And he thinks this is also what his stepdad is thinking, but we're not gonna get into that. So, after the holidays, he gets back to school, the medication's not working, so the test group has to start taking him off it slowly, but he can still be on it for the time being because it's never a good idea to just cut cold turkey on medications. But when he gets back to school, he hears all about this school shooting in a different state, and it happened because the school shooter had mental issues. And everyone's talking about it, everyone is getting bad stigmatisms for it, and Adam is terrified that if the school finds out that he's schizophrenic, he's going to be treated like how people are talking about the school shooter. Now, it's completely different things, alright? Just because you have schizophrenic does not mean you're going to become a school shooter. Just because you have a mental illness does not mean that you're going to be this very dangerous type of person. That's not what that means at all. But that is what Adam fears, and he's really scared about this. So, what the heck did I write down? Oh, now I remember. Sorry, I'm reading this, and the note I wrote down was, he gets to be Jesus in a Jesus play, and does the dirty with Maya in a closet. It took me a second to remember that this happens in the book. So the school has a play about Jesus and all that stuff, and Adam gets picked via students voting to play Jesus during the school play. And while they're doing all this and getting ready for the play, learning lines, doing this whole big setup, he finds out that his costume is in this closet, and him and Maya have been getting really close throughout the story. And, you know, like most teenagers, they're very active in certain activities. So they do the dirty in a closet. And the book is not explicit in this. It's a fade to black next chapter kind of situation. But I completely forgot about that, but apparently I wrote it in my notes, so I just I'm sorry guys, I just was completely thrown off with that because I forgot that even happens in this book. That doesn't happen in the movie. Oh my god, I'm so sorry guys. Anyway, so as he gets off his meds, he starts having more hallucinations. He's dating Maya, and one part of the book is actually really interesting, is that he goes on a date with Maya to like a theater where they have a movie. They're watching an old-fashioned movie as well, and he starts seeing like the people from the screen come out, and it's the mobsters, and they're shooting everything, and he grabs Maya and like brings her down to the floor, and she's old and she just has no idea what's happening, so she just kisses him and he goes along with it, and he's like, okay, cool, I'm not gonna like mess up our date, and he still doesn't want anyone to know. But remember when I talked about Ian, the bully that, you know, I guess I just kind of said he was the bully, but I never said anything that he's done. But some of the stuff that Ian has done throughout the book is he likes to mess with Dwight, calls them names, has stolen Dwight's clothes in the locker room, which Adam has stolen Ian's towel and threw him into the hallway and locked the doors. And Ian is just he's just a bully. He's just a bully at school. But Ian kind of suspects there's something up with Adam, which kind of comes to a head that when they're at a, I can't remember what it was, but they're at like some sort of like school convention thing. They're sitting in an audience, and Adam's starting to freak out a little bit, so he excuses himself, has a bit of a freak out, unknowing that Ian was recording him. And this comes back into play later on, where he's completely off his meds now, but he's been secretly stealing meds and like stashing them somewhere. And when he tries to take Maya to prom, his mom and his stepdad say, no, you can't go to prom, we don't think this is a good idea for you. He takes a whole bunch of the pills that he stashed away, and he goes to prom anyway, where one of the nuns, one of the sisters, because again, he's at a Catholic school and it was like an actual like church turned into a school, so all the teachers are like nuns and stuff, which is interesting. So one of the teachers catch him, and he kind of runs off, but in the middle of prom, while Maya's there, the whole school is there, on the big screen is the video of him kind of freaking out, and everyone learns that he's schizophrenic. And while that is playing on the screen during prom, he just doesn't remember what happens afterward. Everything just kind of fades to black for him, and he wakes up in a hospital. He doesn't want to talk to Maya, he doesn't want to talk to his parents, he just doesn't want to deal with anything. So, but he does end up talking to Maya. He does end up kind of realizing, all right, it's not the end of the world, everything's gonna be fine, and everything kind of goes back to normal for him. But he also got kicked out of school, just a little bit. So, some highlighted moments that I didn't talk about was that after his sibling was born, which I believe was a baby sister, he invites Maya over to the house. They're baking cupcakes and stuff, and, you know, they're having a celebration, a party, and like Paul's mother, you know, his stepfather's mother, so his like step-grandmother, comes by, and she starts talking bad about Adam being in the house. She's saying like, hey, now that your baby's born, where are you gonna send him off? Because she knows he's schizophrenic. And I love this moment because Adam's mother goes off on her. She starts raging and screaming and spitting at her, and she has to be like held back or she would physically attack the grandmother. And I like this moment because this is a moment where Paul and Adam have a bit of a heart-to-heart, and just kind of like, Adam's like, well, do you think I'm gonna be a danger to her? And Paul is very jokingly very like, you know what, I think your mother is actually gonna out crazy you. And they have a good laugh, and it's a really sweet moment between them. I love that moment. I realized I forgot to kind of mention it, and I can't remember if that's before or after the baby's born, but either way, it's an adorable scene and I love it. But yeah, I like this book. It's a really nice book. Ian does end up apologizing to Adam about what he did and that he knows it was a dickish move to do, and Adam suspects that it was because of Maya. So he ends up writing an essay for the school after he kind of goes back, and he graduates. He gets to graduate school now. So it's a very fun, silly book, and it's a great message of like stigmatism towards people who have mental illnesses. And I've read a couple interviews from the author saying that once she had the idea, she did as much research as possible. She talked to people in similar situations. She talked to a bunch of, like, she just did a whole lot of research because her character was going to be schizophrenic, and she's not schizophrenic herself. I'm also just now realizing I didn't explain the therapist, who is also a side character, and the therapist. The reason why the therapist is a side character, why I did not mention him at all throughout the entire discussion of the plot, is that is who Adam is writing to the entirety of the book. This book is in first person point of view journal style. Adam is writing to his therapist in a journal, and he talks about that all the time, how he's talking to his therapist, he's telling his therapist what's happening, what he's seeing, what his thought process is. And I really like that. We don't really get to see the therapist at all. I mean, it's mentioned that when he's in the hospital after prom, the therapist does come by with a whiteboard, and because Adam doesn't want to talk to him, so they write back and forth to each other kind of thing with the whiteboard in the hospital. And I think it's actually in the hospital itself that the therapist does finally say something to him, and that's like the only time we ever hear the therapist speak, like dialogue-wise in the book, because apparently like he does talk to him in the sessions and stuff. Like he reads out loud the journal entries and asks questions, and Adam just doesn't say anything to him. But I think that is the only way I can learn to like first-person point of view if it's in a journal-style narrative, because to me that's what makes sense. Like if you're writing it from a first-person point of view and they're saying I, me, stuff like that, and it's like, okay, yeah, if you're writing it like it's a journal, I understand. But if you're not, then that just annoys me. But that's my own personal preference, and I really, really enjoyed reading this book. And the movie, you know what? Let's get into my personal thoughts before I talk about the movie. So, let's get into that real quick. Personal thoughts about words on bathroom walls. I loved it. I thought it was hilarious. My favorite character is Adam because he's the funniest one in the book. I love Maya. She's an absolute girl boss. She's like, I'm gonna get this done. This is how things are gonna go. If you don't like it, then you can get out of here. I love her so much, and I love Adam. He's just so funny, and I love funny characters. Like, if you can make me laugh while I'm reading, then you are automatically my favorite. And I probably shouldn't say that out there right now, but you know what? If you can make me laugh, you're gonna be my favorite person in the world. So that's just how that goes. I'm sorry. Anyway, that's not all I have to say. That's just a funny book. I have more. So I talked about the first person point of view a little bit, how it's in a journal style, how I think that's the only acceptable way. But again, that is my own personal thoughts and opinions. I know some people really like the first person point of view, especially in romance books, because it makes it feel like they are the ones in the book. I just think that's a little weird. Like, I don't want to be the person in the book. I want to watch it like it's a movie in my head. So, another thing I really like the book is that there are actually a lot of my goodness. there is a lot of religious themes relating back to mental illnesses. I don't have any specific examples, but I feel... Actually, there's one right there. Page 88. Page 88. Jesus loves you, don't be a homo. That's all you need. I can't believe I actually flipped it that. I was actually going to talk about that at the end of the video, but yeah, that's actually what's written on the bathroom walls in the book at the school. But yes. The hallucinations themselves, I didn't talk much about them, but they're hilarious. I love them. I love Amanda. She's one of the hallucinations. She's great. She has such fun energy, and she kind of just really seems to be like Adam's inner psyche in a sense, like his subconscious of how he feels. And it's great. And that reminds me of a scene near the end of the book where Maya asks if one of the hallucinations are there, and Adam admits that Amanda's there, and she seems scared or nervous, and Maya is urging him to go comfort her because she is a part of him, and that's important. But yeah. And I don't really have any least favorites, not even Ian, but mostly because I don't like bully characters. I don't like characters that don't seem funny or are super rude and mean for no reason, but I feel like it fits like the setting of the school and fits the story, and we don't even get a lot of him in the book itself, so I forget he exists. But other than that, I really enjoyed Words on Bathroom Walls, and I think you guys will too. 5 out of 5. Definitely would recommend, but don't take my word for it. You guys go ahead and read it yourselves, or watch the movie and see what you think is different. And I know I said I would talk about the movie a little bit, and how it's different from the book, but I feel like the movie is different in a sense of like his goal in life is different kind of thing. Like that's how I feel it, because in this one in the book Adam is 15. In the movie he's 18 and he wants to go to school. And in the movie his main thing is that he wants to be a chef. He wants to go to culinary school, and while it is shown his love for cooking and baking in the book, it's not as prevalent as it is in the movie, where that's his whole thing, and if he doesn't get that, then his life is ruined. It's like his whole thing in this is that he just doesn't want anyone to know, and that he really likes Maya. Baking is just kind of something that he can physically feel and touch and knows is real. It's his grounding technique in this book, while in the movie it's his whole sense of purpose and goal. At least that's how I interpreted it. But go watch the movie, go read the book, let me know what your own thoughts are in the comments below. Like, subscribe, only if you want to. Honestly, these videos are more for me than anything, but if you guys also enjoyed them, let me know. Anyway, thank you so much guys for watching. You guys are so wonderful, love you all so much, and I'm really enjoying book club as a series, and I hope you guys are as well. What book are we going to be reading next week? I have no idea. I genuinely don't. I haven't picked a book yet, but you know, keep an eye out on my posts, on my Instagram, on my YouTube shorts. Maybe I'll let you know what book I'm gonna post about next week, but maybe not. I have no idea yet. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next chapter. Bye!